More Mr. and Mrs. Green by Keith Baker. The portrait. I want to paint, said Mrs. Green, something bright, something bold, something beautiful. How about painting me, asked Mr. Green. He was not shy or modest. Will you wear a tie? Asked Mrs. Green. Like always, said Mr. Green. 1, 2, will you sit still? Asked Mrs. Green. Like a statue, said Mr. Green. 3, will you smile? Asked Mrs. Green. Like the Mona Lisa, said Mr. Green. 4, and will you stay awake? Asked Mrs. Green. Like a night owl, said Mr. Green. But it was almost time for his nap. Mr. Green selected a colorful tie. He had 317 of them. He practiced smiling in the mirror. He had a big smile with sparkly teeth. He pretended to be a statue. He didn't move a muscle or bump for a full minute. Then he pinched himself. Ouch! He was wide awake. His nap could wait. Mr. Green sat down. Hold that pose, said Mrs. Green. She started painting at once. She felt excited. Mr. Green was bright, bold, and beautiful. Mrs. Green mixed shades of every color, especially green. She observed all the shapes. She studied all the shadows. She did not miss a detail. The hours flew by for her, but not for Mr. Green. His nose tickled, his foot itched, his tail tingled, and his eyelids grew heavier and heavier and heavier. At last, Mr. Green fell into a deep, deep sleep. It was a delicious sleep. He dreamt about pies. I think Mr. Green likes pies. Mrs. Green could paint forever, but she also knew when to stop. Fini, she shouted at last. Fini means finished in French. Mr. Green was startled awake. He had been napping for 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 49 seconds. Now it was time to see his portrait. It was weird. It was modern. It was wild. Every humpy bump and speckly spot, every sparkly tooth and pointy finger were all there, just jumbled up. Inside out, flip-floppity, Mr. Green was stunned. His eye is down there, and his watch is in his eye. His tie is in a circle. Whoa. And he was thrilled. It's me, said Mr. Green. You've captured the real me. It's spectacular, it's stupendous, and it's superb. Superb means superb in French. Mrs. Green turned a little red. She was embarrassed by all the compliments, but she was also proud as Picasso, one of her favorite painters. Let's hang this in our gallery, said Mr. Green. I know just the place. It's another magnificent masterpiece, he said. Thank you, said Mrs. Green. Your fabulous face always inspires me. Look at all these wonderful paintings. The end.